there's this strict hierarchy of things that should be done and not. And in doing so, in that hierarchy, to still today, we in our Korean culture, unless you're of the same age, you're not considered friends. So even strangers, so it's strangers. So um, it's very interesting, the so let me explain this. So okay, unless they're same age, they can't be friends. So when they first meet, you have a formal, they talk in formal language. Then after they get to know each other a little bit, the first question is what's your birth date or birth year, and then they go from there. And then to get more friendly, then they determine who's the older, who's the younger, are they same age? Then they can be friends, So they determine that, and then that is how you determine whether you lower your formal language, uh, or go familiar, or remain formal. So if I were to meet somebody, we first meet and we introduce ourselves formally, and we talk in the formal tense, and then uh, if he's younger than me, then I would ask him, can I lower my my tense to informal, um, and then he still would have to talk to me formal tense, and I speak in informal, and then he would call me 형님 or big brother, and uh, I call him by his name to younger, but upward they have to call you by big brother, big sister, like this.
Like an algorithm.
Yeah, yeah. So it's very interesting, the Korean culture, the first formality of introduction and getting to know somebody. It's quite interesting from outside point of view. Um, yeah, for us, it's very natural.
Mhm.
For us Koreans, it's very natural.
Well, I mean,
So
what I noticed about it is just like it's also i- it's it's revolves around respect
yeah,
and
absolutely.
honoring tradition, and it's this understanding among even people you don't know that this is how we relate to one another in
Yeah,
a respectful way and are aware of who you are, um what your place in our extended family is, and respect that. It to me, when I first heard about it, it didn't seem like it was diminishing of one another. It was more being aware, and in a way it kind of almost breaks the ice to like get to know somebody as well, and connect them with that as well, because there's
oh
this
yeah.
protocol that happens, and that just is the end to want to get to know each other more deeply.
Yeah. See, what happens is that when I ask the person, "Can I call you? You're my younger brother. Can I accept you as younger brother?" Or the younger person could say, uh, can I accept you as my big brother?" First, that question has to be asked, and actually, the person could say no. And if they say no, then you remain in the formal tense, and you don't become familiar, right?
Mm,
So once you ask that question, they confirm one or the other, then it's decided. But what happens is that when you assume somebody, each role, of course, has uh, particular responsibility, expectations, and obligations, and it is, of course, based on the system of respect and honor. So when you take on somebody as a younger brother, then you are basically caring for him as your younger brother. I used to have a lot of them. So what that means is then one of those things that every time you go out, every time you go eat or go drinking or do whatever, you pay. You pay.
that's
The
that's
older
yeah.
brother pays all the time. And so, this got to a point where it was, at one time, it got very upset, where these guys got clever. They would go ahead and have dinner, right? They would meet my younger brothers, right? Not they're not my blood brothers. They're Korean brothers. And then when they're about to end, right? Then they would call me. then so I go, and there's a big fat check, and and I end up paying for the check. So they got clever in doing that. Of course, so there are advantages and disadvantages both ways. So then the older brother, whenever you call on the younger brother for work or whatever help you need, they need to come. They need to be there. So it has is benefits and pitfalls both ways. When and of course, if it's a good relationship and they don't abuse each other, right? Then they're and take advantage of the privileges. But sometimes that's all too common case. And of course, you're not always, you have older brothers too, right? You have older
Mhm.
brothers, you have younger brothers, so it goes both ways. You go ahead and take care of your younger brothers, and then you go with your big brother, and he cares for you, so it all works out.